Grant, why do you keep photographing the same street corner? Staff Sergeant Mike Torres asked the question while reviewing Sergeant Lisa Grant's patrol photos. Lisa pulled up 6 different images. On her laptop, same intersection, different days. Look at the motorcycle vendor, she said, pointing. He's there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, always the same spot, same time. Torres shrugged. So, guy's got a schedule. Now look at this photo from yesterday, Thursday. He's there again, different time, and he's not selling, just watching. Torres leaned closer. And here, Lisa continued, pulling up another image, same vendor, different corner. Day before our convoy got hit last week. He was positioned exactly where he could see us coming. Torres' expression changed. You think he's a spotter. I think he's part of a pattern, and patterns tell stories. Over the next 3 days, Lisa's photographs would reveal an entire Taliban surveillance network. Spotters, coordinators, trigger men, all visible in images nobody else had thought to analyze. The photographer wasn't making art. She was conducting visual intelligence, and she was better at it than anyone with formal training. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Acts of Veterans so you never miss these true tales of courage, and tell us in the comments, where are you watching from today? Sergeant Lisa Grant had been a photojournalist before she enlisted in the Army. She'd worked for a small newspaper in Oregon, covering local stories, city council meetings, high school sports, community events, the unglamorous work that taught her the fundamentals of visual storytelling. But Lisa had always wanted more, wanted to document something that mattered, something with weight and consequence. When she was 25, she embedded with a military unit as a civilian journalist for a week-long assignment, watched soldiers work, saw their dedication, their camaraderie, the way they carried responsibility. Something shifted in her during that week. She realized she didn't want to just document service. She wanted to be part of it. 6 months later, she enlisted infantry, not as a combat photographer or public affairs specialist, as a regular soldier. Her recruiter had been surprised. You have a journalism degree and professional photography experience. You could go straight into public affairs. I don't want to be a photographer who happens to be in the Army, Lisa said. I want to be a soldier who also takes pictures. The distinction mattered to her. She wanted to earn her place the same way everyone else did. So she went through basic training, infantry school, deployed to Afghanistan with the 3rd Infantry Division as a standard rifleman assigned to 2nd Platoon. She brought her camera, a professional DSLR she'd saved 2 years to afford. It was personal equipment, not Army issued. She carried it in her pack on every patrol, alongside her ammunition and water. Her squad noticed immediately. Grant's playing war photographer. Someone joked during their first patrol. Lisa didn't respond. She just took her photos, documented what she saw, made it part of her routine. At first, it was casual. Pictures of her squad, the landscape, moments that felt worth remembering. But over weeks and months, something evolved. Lisa started treating her photography differently, more systematically. She began photographing the same locations on different days, the same routes from different angles, the same villages at different times. She wasn't making art anymore. She was building an archive, a visual database of their area of operations. Most of her squad thought it was weird, but harmless. Some found it annoying. Grant, can you stop pointing that camera at everything? Corporal Davis complained during one patrol. You're making the locals nervous. I'm documenting, Lisa replied simply. Documenting what? Dirt roads and market stalls, details, changes, patterns. Davis shook his head and moved on. Let the photographer do her thing. 3 months into deployment, their convoy got hit by an IED en route Falcon. Nobody was killed, but 3 soldiers were wounded. The blast damaged the vehicles. It took hours to secure the area and medevac the casualties. During the after-action review, intelligence tried to determine how the enemy had known their route and timing. Lisa sat in the back of the briefing room, listening, when something clicked in her memory. After the meeting, she pulled Staff Sergeant Torres aside. Sergeant, can I show you something? Torres followed her to her quarters. Lisa opened her laptop and pulled up her photo archive. I photograph our patrol routes. Every time we go out, same angles when possible, different times and days. She opened a folder labeled Route Falcon. This is Route Falcon to days before the attack. The image showed the road, clear, normal traffic, a few local vehicles, Now this is Route Falcon the morning of the attack. For hours before we rolled through, Torres leaned in. The road looked similar, but there were differences. A car positioned on the shoulder, a motorcycle parked near an intersection. You see this car? Lisa zoomed in. It wasn't there the day before, or the day before that. It appeared the morning of our convoy. And look at the angle. It's positioned to give clear line of sight down the road. Torres studied the image. You think someone was watching from the cart. I think someone placed the cart as a spotting position. And there's more. She pulled up another image that same day. Different location. This motorcycle vendor. He's usually at this corner Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Regular schedule. But on the day of the attack Thursday, he showed up. Different time than usual. And he wasn't selling. Just watching. Torres' expression shifted from curiosity to concern. Grant, are you saying you photographed enemy spotters without knowing it? I'm saying I photographed pattern disruptions. Things that didn't fit the normal routine. I didn't know what they meant until after the attack. Torres stared at the images for a long moment. We need to show this to intelligence. The intelligence officer, Captain Sarah Mitchell, reviewed Lisa's photos with intense focus. Sergeant Grant, how many photos do you have? Total, about 4,000 from 3 months of patrols. Mitchell's eyes widened. 4,000, and they're all organized like this. Yes, ma'am, by date, location, and subject. I've been building a visual archive of our owl. Mitchell pulled up more images, started cross-referencing them with attack reports and intelligence assessments. After an hour of analysis, she sat back. Sergeant Grant, you've accidentally created the most comprehensive visual intelligence database in this sector, and I think you've photographed multiple enemy spotters without realizing it. Lisa felt a chill run through her. Ma'am, look at this. Mitchell pulled up several images. This same truck, different locations, different dates, but always within 48 hours before an attack. You photographed it 6 times. Lisa looked at the images. She'd never made the connection, and this man, Mitchell continued, blue jacket, different locations, always positioning himself with clear sightlines to our routes. You've captured him 8 times. Mitchell turned to face Lisa directly. Your photos aren't just documentation, they're intelligence, pattern analysis, surveillance detection. You've been doing visual intelligence work without formal training. I was just taking pictures. MAM, no, you were paying attention. That's different. That's better. Over the next 2 weeks, Mitchell and Lisa worked together. They analyzed every photo in the archive, cross-referenced faces, vehicles, and locations with known attack patterns. They identified 17 probable enemy spotters, 12 surveillance positions, 5 vehicles used for reconnaissance. The intelligence was immediately actionable. One afternoon, Lisa was reviewing new photos from that morning's patrol when she saw it. The motorcycle vendor, the same one who'd been watching their route before the attack. He was back, same corner, same watching behavior. Lisa grabbed her laptop and ran to the talk. Captain Mitchell, the vendor's back. Same pattern as last time. Mitchell pulled up the photos. Her face went grim. If the pattern holds, they're planning another attack, probably within 48 hours. She immediately briefed the battalion. Commander, within an hour, patrol routes were altered, security was increased, intelligence assets were redirected to monitor the vendor and related positions. 2 days later, they received intel that a planned Taliban ambush had been abandoned. The enemy had called it off because the Americans changed their pattern. The attack never happened. Nobody got hurt because Lisa had seen something nobody else noticed. Word spread quickly through the battalion. The photographer wasn't just taking pictures. She was finding threats. Soldiers who mocked her camera started asking questions. Grant, can you teach us what to look for? Lisa started conducting informal training sessions, teaching soldiers how to observe, how to notice patterns, how to identify disruptions. It's not about being a photographer. She explained during one session. It's about paying attention. Most people look without seeing. They register the surface but miss the details. She pulled up comparison photos. This is the same street, 1 week apart. Most people would say nothing changed. But look closer. This shop, closed last week, opened this week. New faces, different traffic pattern. That's a change worth noting. Staff Sergeant Torres attended one of her sessions. Grant, you could probably transfer to intelligence. Do this full-time? Lisa shook her head. I'm an infantry soldier who takes pictures. not an intelligence analyst who carries a rifle. The combination is what makes it work. Torres understood she needed to be in the field, needed to see the terrain firsthand, needed to experience the environment the same way her subjects did. That proximity was what made her observations valuable. 5 months into deployment, Lisa's archive contained over 8,000 photographs. Her visual database covered every major route, every village, every significant location in their operational area. Captain Mitchell had integrated Lisa's photos into formal intelligence reporting. Other units in the region requested access to her archive. Lisa became the unofficial visual intelligence asset for the battalion. Soldiers started bringing her photos from their patrols. "Grant, can you check these? Tell me if you see anything weird." Lisa would analyze them, look for patterns, disruptions, things that didn't fit. More often than she expected, she found something. A vehicle that didn't belong, a person in the wrong place, a structure that had changed. Not every observation prevented an attack, but enough did, enough to save lives. One evening, Lieutenant James Morrison approached Lisa. "Sergeant Grant, I want to thank you." "For what, sir?" "My platoon was supposed to patrol Route Copper 3 days ago. Your photos showed pattern disruptions. We diverted. I swept the original route yesterday. Found 3 IEDs positioned exactly where we would have been." Morrison's voice was thick with emotion. "My soldiers are alive because you pay attention, because you see things we miss." Lisa didn't know what to say. She'd just been doing what felt natural, using her skills to contribute. "Thank you, sir, but I'm just taking pictures." "No," Morrison said firmly. "You're saving lives with a camera and the willingness to actually see what's in front of you." On her last day in Afghanistan, before redeploying home, Lisa conducted one final training session for the soldiers staying behind. Visual intelligence isn't about having a fancy camera or being an artist, she told them. It's about consistency. Document the same places regularly. Build a baseline of what normal looks like. Then you'll notice when normal changes. She pulled up her laptop one last time, showed them her archive. 10,000 photos organized into a searchable database. "I'm leaving this with intelligence. It's a gift, a starting point. Keep building it. Keep paying attention." One of the younger soldiers raised his hand. "Sergeant Grant, what made you start doing this? Why photograph everything?" Lisa thought about it. "Because I learned as a journalist that the truth is in the details. The story isn't always the obvious thing. It's the pattern underneath, the things that repeat, the things that change. And if you don't document them, you can't see them." She closed her laptop. "Every one of you has the ability to do this. You don't need a camera. You just need to pay attention, really pay attention, not just look, but see." Back home, Lisa was awarded the Army Commendation Medal for her intelligence work. The citation mentioned innovative visual intelligence gathering that prevented multiple enemy attacks and saved numerous lives. But Lisa didn't frame the medal. She framed a different photo, a picture of her squad, all of them alive, smiling, taken on their last patrol before redeployment, because that's what the work had been about. Not intelligence, not recognition, just bringing everyone home alive. And she'd done it with nothing more than a camera and the trained eye of someone who understood that the world tells stories if you're willing to pay attention. Sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't firepower, it's awareness. The simple act of seeing what's actually there. And Sergeant Lisa Grant had proven that a photographer's eye could be just as valuable as any tactical skill, because in the end, survival often depends on noticing the one thing everyone else missed. Moral: the most powerful intelligence tool isn't technology, it's attention. The ability to see patterns, notice changes, and document details can save more lives than any weapon. Your unique skills, whatever they are, can become invaluable assets when applied with consistency and care. If this story moved you, don't forget to show your support. Subscribe to Acts of Veterans for more true tales of courage, sacrifice, and honor. Stories that remind us of the quiet strength carried by those who serve. Tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We love seeing how far these stories reach. Until next time, stay safe, stay strong, and never forget the heroes among us.